the surface area problems where it's a rectangular prism are probably the most difficult, not because they're conceptually hard, but because they give you this humongous head fake. Like, you go through and you say, alright, well, I've got this rectangular prism, and I've been taught how to find the area around the surface of a prism if it's like something I know, if it's a shape that makes a lot of sense to me. But what happens when the shape, you don't know what the base is? It's not always like fundamentally obvious which one has to be. And the thing I want you to remember as you're going through and doing these problems is that it doesn't matter what the base is. You could do this from the perspective of any side being the base here. Any of the faces are allowed to be the base, because that's sort of the whole point, is that not bad. Because when you go through and you do this, like, okay, so let's put some labels in here. Let's call, because these are all rectangles, so I don't have to name everything, but I can. And so it doesn't matter which side you choose to make as your base. Here, I'll show it to you from all three perspectives. Here, let's choose, this is the perspective I would almost certainly always choose, where the bottom side here is the base. And I'll highlight that for you. Here's the bottom side. Are you all see what I'm talking about? The bottom of it. And so you go through and you say, all right, well, 2b plus ph. Well, let's find b, let's find p, and let's find h. And then you go through and you say, all right, well, area of the base. Well, it's a rectangle, so length times width, 7 times 9, 63. Perimeter, add up all four sides. 9 and 9 and 7 and 7. 14 and 18 is 32. Height, well, what's the one I haven't used yet? It's this guy, right? 5. That's the only thing I haven't used yet. So then we're going to go through. We're going to say, all right, I did it. There's B, there's P, there's H. So 2 times 63 plus 32 times 5. 63 times 2 is 126. 32 times 5 is 160. And my final answer is 286. That is my final answer, right? So let's show that it doesn't matter which one you pick. Right? Let's show that it doesn't matter which one you pick. Let's do, I'm going to put this up in the corner here, 286. So we showed that using this side, the one that's sort of along the bottom here. So now let's do a different side. Let's get rid of this. So let's choose a different side. Let's choose this left side here. So we know the area of the base is 5 by 9, so 45. We know the perimeter, 5 and 5, 9 and 9, so 18 plus 10 is 28. We know the height is 7, 2b plus ph, 2 times 45 plus 28 times 7. And we end up with, well, here's 90. And then 28 times 7. So 7 times 7 is 49 times 4. Sorry, looking good. That's a 6. 196. Hey. 90 and 196. If I add them up, I get 286. I got the same thing again. So let's do, so I've done the front side here. I've done the left side. Let's do the bottom side now. And the key is, again, with a rectangular prism, you're spoiled by choice. You've got the option of going any which way, and that 99 times out of 100 freaks people out. When you say, oh my God, there's so many choices, what do I do? I don't know what to do. That's okay. You're allowed to do it any of the ways. So here, this base is 5 by 7, so 35. Perimeter, 7, 14, 24, and height is 9. So once again, 2b plus ph. I know what b, p, and h are, so 2 times 35 plus 24 times 9. Here's 70. And then 24 times 9. 216? Yeah. 24 times 10 minus 24. 240 minus 24 is 216. And then you add those up, 70 and 216. You better get 286. You better get the exact same thing. It doesn't matter which way you go. It's always going to be the same thing with a rectangular prism. It's just a matter of choosing your side, identifying the height of the prism that goes with it, and then moving on with your life. This is, like I said, this is not conceptually difficult, but it does leave you spoiled by choice, and that causes lots of problems for people. People say, but I don't know which one to choose, and the answer is, and it's a answer that's not very satisfying for people. It's that you can go any way. You just pick. Just be consistent. All right. So the question says as follows: the base of the prism is a 45, 45, 90 triangle. It's got a leg of 9. So let me draw me a triangle here. This is a 45, 45, 90 triangle, so both legs are the same. And then I'm going to draw this terrible looking prism because I'm doing this by hand. So you'll have to excuse the awful shape here. So the leg is 9 and then the height of it is 2.3. So we can find the area of the base easily. Remember, it's volume is just area of the base times the height. So we've got one half for the area of the base of the figure. It's a triangle, so 1/2 times 9 times 9, because the base and the height are both 9, right? And then, so that's half of 81, or 40.5. And then the height they tell you is 2.3. So we do 40.5 times 2.3. And that's something one could, if they were convinced to work hard enough, that they could do in their head, but no thank you. 40.5 times 2.3 had better be 93.15. And that's the answer. The question that was given to me was, given this, how did they get 93.15? Hopefully you see it here. Probably 9 times out of 10, the issue is, since it's the 45, 45, 90 triangle, you get confused and you're like, okay, well, what's the base, what's the height? They're both 9. The base and the height surround the right angle, and so those are the two legs, and those are both the same, so they're both 9. And then the height, when it says in the problem, it says the height is 2.3. It doesn't say the height of the prism, but that should be understood from context, because they already give you all the information for the base of the figure. Why would they give you the height of a triangle that you don't need again? So that's what it boils down to. We don't have any vertical angles here. These don't go straight through each other, right? So this line over here doesn't cross straight through, so we can't do that. What we can do, though, what we can do, though, is just add everything up and have it be easier that way. And in fact, you don't even need to add the whole thing up, because look, you see that, let's go back to you drawing lines here. This line right here, from T to D, you see that that's a diameter, right? And so that means, all right, well, we want dB, but we gotta just have dB, right? This whole thing is 180 degrees, right? But now this right here is 90, and so this over here must also be 90. Yeah, this is definitely one not to overthink. Oh yeah, this is also one where don't overthink it, just break it up. There's actually a lot of ways to do this. My thought always is, I'm not going to be able to draw this very well, but there's a half a cylinder on top. Let me get a picture here. So there's a half of a cylinder on top. You could also chop off this front part as another half of a cylinder. So basically what you have is here's one half cylinder up here. Up front is another half of a cylinder. And then the rest of it is just a bunch of rectangles, whatever's left over that hasn't been chopped off. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangles. You know, here's one rectangle, here's another rectangle, here's another rectangle, 2, 3, and then the front one, here's another rectangle, right? So if it's me, I'm just gonna sort of do them piece by piece. So like, first of all, let me do this. And second of all, let me do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break it up into the pieces. I've got the half cylinder up here on the top. So when we do this, since it's a half of a cylinder, we're just going to do half of it, right? So I'm going to do, well, area of the base of this thing, the radius is 8, so we've got 64 pi. Perimeter, the radius is 8, so the diameter is 16, so the perimeter is 16 pi. And again, I'm going to pretend like it's the whole thing, and I'm just going to chop it in half. And then the height, they tell you, is here, it's 9. So 2b, 128 pi plus ph, 16 times 9, I think is 144. Yeah, 144 pi. And then add those together. And then that's if it were the whole cylinder, we can divide this by 2 and get 86 pi. So there's this part right here that's taken care of. So let's take this and let's put it over somewhere so we don't lose it. I don't want the whole thing, I just want 86 pi. That's all I want. There. So there's number 1. Top cylinder. Now let's take care of the front cylinder. Same thing. 2b plus ph. This time, really the only difference, because the radius is still 8, right? This time the only difference is that the height is 6 instead of 9. So I'm going to go through, you know, the area of the base is still 64 pi. The perimeter over here is still 16 pi. The height is still, well, the height is now 6, so let's change that. And it really literally is just sort of doing it piece by piece. 16 times 6, 96. That sounds about right. 36 plus 16, 96. And again, just add it all together. Is this right? This 86 pi over here, did I do that right? Because that was 9. How is this bigger than the other one? I screwed something up. Oh, I did 172. So there should be... 136. Sorry about that. See, that's the other part about stuff like this, is you're doing so much. Try and break it down into one thing at a time. That way you're not like sitting there trying to do everything at the same time. Just do one single piece at a time and then set it up to the side. But anyway, 128 and 96, I'm going to write this out because I don't trust myself anymore. Should be, so this will, when you divide it by 2, the half cylinder here, 112 pi. And now that we've taken care of the cylinders, it's literally just, okay, we've got those 4 rectangles. Let's find the area of those 4 rectangles. The front one is 6 times 9. The back one here is also 6 times 9, right? 6 and 9. The back one here, 6 by, not 8, but 16, right? 6 times 16, 96, right? And then the bottom here is 9 times 16, which I think we said before was 144. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. And then just add them together. I think the directions tell you to eventually round to the nearest whole number. So as far as I'm concerned at this point, just dump it all into the calculator, because you're going to have to round at the end anyway. I've gotten all the exact numbers right here, so I've done all the work I need to do. 136 pi plus 112 pi plus 54 plus 54 plus 96 plus 144. And then again, just round to the nearest whole number. I get 1,127.114978. And then from here it says round to the nearest whole number. So I'm going to round to the nearest whole number. That means I look at the whole number and then I go over 1 and I say, is that closer to round up or closer to round down? And the answer is round it down. Truncate the answer, and your answer should be centimeters squared as your final answer there. So again, 90% of making sure you get it right is to just break it up and not do it all at once. Don't try and do everything at the same time. There's no need, there's no reason, there's no want for it. Just do one piece at a time, set it off to the side, and then do the next piece, and then the next piece. And then once you found all the pieces, then you can just sum them up. And that's the easiest way to do it, really. I really wouldn't try to do everything all at the same time.